called spoken word. My first question is, does anyone know what cuckolding is?
Cuckolding? Yes.
You do?
Oh, yeah.
Can you tell me what it is?
Well, isn't it when a guy, is cuckolded by the woman? When the woman has it's a medieval thing, isn't it?
Yeah, sort of.
When the woman,
Yeah, but that was in the past.
Yeah.
This is in the present.
Oh, does it have a different meaning now then?
Oh.
You did well then.
Oh yeah, bit naughty. Anyway, this is called Cuckolding in Istanbul, a cock and bull story. I smiled when I bought in a charity shop a Penguin paperback book on short French stories, somewhat dated. I eagerly turned to Cuckolded, Hanged and Happy. Now, why would the C word intrigue me? This is a true story. I sent to Internations organization in Germany to warn ladies who travel alone against predators of the male species. Finally, they wrote they could do nothing without his full name, which I never knew. Frankly, they did not care. I was invited to a 70th dinner party in May 2014 in Istanbul by a known UNESCO British archaeologist. Well, why not, thought I. I decided to stay a month in Pera, the European side of the Bosphorus, at the cosy, traditional Bayuk Londra Hotel with a balcony overlooking the Golden Horn. It had been the sister hotel to the famous posh Pera Palace during the golden age of travel. I made the error of writing an announcement online in the free members forum on the Internations website, as I was a paid-up member. I had written a few months earlier, Jilliana from the UK would like to see Istanbul through a member's eyes, without specifying male or female. A big mistake, not to be repeated, as anyone could join initially for free without a kosher profile. I immediately received 2 replies from 30-something males, 30-something aged males. One a lawyer called Ali, who I never met, but I'm still in contact with from time to time on Viber. Ali later confessed he was looking for a non-Turkish girlfriend and asked me to procure one. The other, Ahmet, pounced on me verbally. Little did I suspect what he, the evil one, had in mind. Predator Ahmet sent me his mobile number, and a couple of mornings later, in Istanbul, I spontaneously texted him wanting a walkabout. He responded immediately, addressing me as beautiful lady. I should have suspected then, but I knew no one at that stage in the vast city, so why not? Next, he sent me his photograph and also photographs of cheap-looking hand-woven Turkish rugs. I assured him I was not interested in buying rugs, to which he enthused. He just wanted me to see the new ones in his flat. Not to my sophisticated taste, however. I suggested he came to my hotel at noon to show me his Istanbul. Ahmet arrived on the dot of noon as the grandfather clock in the eclectic lounge struck the seduction hour and the parrot squawked "Merhaba," that means hello in Turkish. An average European boyish specimen, about 34, with a self-confident smile, not my type at all. He eagerly offered to show me an out-of-the-way district not too far away, producing, like a magician, a metro ticket for me. No car, no taxi, as he had a ticket to ride, or was it to take me for a ride? Off we went, passing on the way what I thought would be a cultural district, a modern hotel very close to mine. For some reason, I commented that the architecture looked out of place, as all the other buildings were historic. It was then he proudly informed me that cuckolding went on in that specific hotel. Had I not referred to that hotel, would the C subject have emerged, or was he just testing my sexual knowledge and experience? I shall never know. I was not at that stage in the C zone. Was he testing the type of woman I was or am? I had only come across the word in Old English literature and the Italian word cornuto. Being a linguist, I demanded to know the full C meaning in context. His eyes sparkled. I had opened a can of worms, or should I say, cocks and bulls, not cock and bull. His favourite topic and indulgence. He whipped out his mobile to show me the meaning, bragging he was a master alpha bull. He was into more than fucking, that's for sure, and no doubt was a regular visitor at the modern corporate hotel, proudly telling me the capitals of cuckolding were New York, Paris, and Istanbul. We slowly arrived at the impressive, statue-filled metro with his hard-earned spare ticket, where he took some photos of smiling, but not for long, Sultana Jilliana, that's me, wearing her Dutch green and black dress complemented by a bright emerald green turban. Did I look in his eyes like a dominatrix? We travelled 2 stations and got out in a vast, desolate, concrete square with a few people walking about, crossing over to a run-down area called Aksaray, with Russian signage above the warehouses. The people who come and stay in this area are the buyers and sellers of not only garments, but other things as well, such as sex and sex trafficking from Russia, Eastern Europe, Romania, and the Ukraine. This, he proudly announced, was also the prostitute area, but they, probably Russian angels of the night, only came out at 7 p.m, and the black ones of dubious heritage at 6. Obviously in the know, but why would he think that I would be interested in this unattractive, seedy business area? I asked the rates, which of course he knew, but today I have forgotten. Not expensive, as they were not call girls, but out hustling on the streets and in dingy rooms in sleazy locals' hotels, black being cheaper than white. I asked if their menus too. I asked about their menus too, as the prices went up and down, depending on when the members went up and down. At some point, we passed a black woman wearing a sexy tight lacy mini dress with a well-endowed derriere. Ahmet grunted like the bull that he was, flaring his nostrils, turning and saying he wouldn't mind having her for dinner. But why tell me? It was clear he didn't care where he put his member. 2 o'clock came. I was famished, and as I enjoyed beetroot soup, borscht, I thought I would take advantage of the ethnicity of the area and invite my so-called sex-mad guide for a snack. Not that he deserved it, mind you, but I felt like a change from the usual Turkish meze and kebabs. Ahmet seemed to know the district well, telling me that he had dealings with the Eastern Bloc and had exhibited in the USSR with commodities, but his business had gone down the toilet and he was skinned. I got the message loud and clear. Ahmet was looking for a foreign sugar mummy. Ooh la la, did the stallion back the wrong mare? Did they have a special mounting technique in Turkey? Did I really miss a bullish opportunity? He picked an empty Ukrainian cafe, which was clean but basic, soup, red cabbage and sausages were on the laminated menu in Russian, which he was able to read. He boasted he was on LinkedIn and showed me his entry on his phone, which mentioned his exaggerated profile, no doubt, saying that he had business experience at the Russian trade fairs. After a not so bad cheap lunch, although weary from endless walking, I saw from the outside an interesting but locked Armenian Orthodox church. And we walked, taking photographs of the broken down Aksaray area with its cafes and typical low stools and tables covered with reddish machine-made traditional woven tablecloths. Only men were seated with their little cups of precious thick black coffee. Kurds, he announced dismissively and disdainfully. I was in need of a rest and a coffee. We had somehow arrived at the better-known area of Kumkapi, specializing in fish restaurants. He knew a traditional cafe with a nargila or hookah and a friendly owner. Telling me we would have to call for a taxi back, I announced he could buy the coffees, and amazingly, he replied no. Business was bad and he couldn't afford to, showing me some paltry coins in his pocket amidst a $50 note, which the cafe owner obviously couldn't cash. I hit the roof. I had nothing further to say to him, and in silence after our Turkish coffees, we took a taxi back to the metro, and I limped into the metro alone for the first time in the large, overwhelming, exciting Ottoman historic city. There's always a first time and a challenge a la Turk. Rushing back to my cozy traditional room in Pera, I enthusiastically Googled Cuckolding, for educational purposes of course, and even found an entry on Craigslist. That day, I learnt about the underbelly of Istanbul and had a fascinating insight into the dark side of people's alternative and sexual proclivities and lives. So now you can look it up.
Ladies and gentlemen, make some noise. Sorry, it's actually on my throat.
I need some help getting
Thank you so
down.
much.